Deep in the cold emptiness of space, the massive warship, Black Vengeance, drifted silently among the stars. Its dark hull absorbed all light, making it nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. Inside the ship's command center, Captain James Wyatt stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the main screen with cold, calculating eyes. "Sir, we've detected unusual energy readings from the edge of the system," reported First Officer Mark Thompson, his voice tight with concern. Wyatt's expression didn't change, but his fingers tightened slightly. He had been waiting for this moment for the past 15 years. The alien fleet was finally approaching, just as he had planned. "How many ships?" Wyatt asked, his voice steady and controlled. 27 vessels, Captain. "All of them appear to be warships," Thompson answered, checking the readings again. "They match the profiles of the raiders we encountered in the Beta sector." Wyatt allowed himself a small smile. The raiders had destroyed his home colony when he was just a teenager. They thought they had killed everyone, but they had missed one survivor. Now, after years of careful planning and climbing through the ranks of the Earth Defense Force, Wyatt was ready to unveil his true plan. "Send the coded transmission to our hidden fleet," Wyatt ordered. "It's time to show them what humanity is truly capable of." In the shadows of a nearby asteroid field, 50 Earth ships lay in wait, their systems running in stealth mode. Each vessel had been carefully chosen and modified according to Wyatt's specifications. The crews were all handpicked, soldiers and officers who had lost everything to alien attacks and were willing to do whatever it took to protect humanity. As the raider fleet moved closer, Wyatt activated his personal console and entered a series of commands. Holographic screens appeared around him, showing detailed battle plans that he had spent years perfecting. Each move, each strategy had been calculated to exploit the aliens' weaknesses. "Captain," Thompson called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the raider fleet." "Put it through," Wyatt commanded, his face a mask of professional courtesy. The main screen flickered to life, showing the alien commander. The creature's gray, scaled face filled the screen, its 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "Earth vessel," it spoke through the translator, "you have entered restricted space. Prepare to be boarded or face immediate destruction." Wyatt's response was calm and measured. "I'm afraid that won't be possible. You see, we've been expecting you." Before the alien could respond, Wyatt gave the signal. The hidden Earth fleet burst from the asteroid field, their weapons already charged. The raiders, caught completely by surprise, scrambled to raise their shields. But Wyatt wasn't finished. He pressed another button on his console, and hundreds of small objects detached from his ship's hull. They were special devices that he had developed in secret, quantum disruptors that could temporarily disable alien shield technology. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Omega," Wyatt ordered. "Show no mercy." The space around them erupted into chaos. Earth ships moved in perfect coordination, executing complex maneuvers that confused and separated the raider vessels. The quantum disruptors did their work, leaving the alien ships vulnerable to concentrated fire. From his command center, Wyatt watched as his years of planning came to fruition. Each move the raiders made had been predicted, each counter-strategy already prepared for. This wasn't just a battle, it was revenge, carefully crafted and perfectly executed. Thompson watched in amazement as the supposedly invincible raider fleet began to crumble under their assault. "Captain," he said quietly, "the things you've done to prepare for this, the technology, the strategies. How long have you been planning this?" Wyatt's eyes never left the main screen as he answered, "Since the day they destroyed my home. Everything I've done, every promotion, every assignment, every technological development, it was all for this moment." The raiders thought they were the hunters, but they never realized they were being hunted themselves. As the battle continued to unfold, more of Wyatt's innovative tactics came into play. Specialized jamming signals prevented the raiders from coordinating their attacks. Automated defense drones protected Earth ships from return fire. Every detail had been considered, every contingency planned for. But this was only the beginning. Wyatt knew that somewhere in that raider fleet was the information he truly needed, the location of their homeworld and their main battle fleet. This skirmish, as one-sided as it appeared, was merely the first step in his greater plan. The raiders had made a fatal mistake 15 years ago when they left him alive. They were about to learn that humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered or destroyed. Under Wyatt's leadership, humanity would show the galaxy why they should be feared. As the last raider ship fell silent, its systems disabled by their attack, Wyatt gave his next order. Prepare boarding parties. I want their computer cores intact. And make sure to take prisoners, they're going to tell us everything we need to know. The true revelation of Wyatt's ruthless strategies was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same. The captured raider ship's interior was dark and cold, its corridors silent except for the echo of human boots on metal floors. Captain Wyatt walked slowly through the alien vessel, his personal guard following close behind. The air smelled of ozone and defeat. Report, Wyatt commanded as he entered what appeared to be the ship's bridge. The room was filled with Earth technicians working on various consoles, their faces lit by the blue glow of portable computers. Lieutenant David Reed looked up from his workstation. Captain, we've managed to crack their first level of encryption. The data we're finding, it's bigger than we thought. Wyatt moved closer, his eyes scanning the alien symbols streaming across the screen. Show me. Reed pulled up a series of star maps. These aren't just patrol routes, sir. The raiders have entire networks of hidden bases throughout human space. They've been watching us for years, building up their forces right under our noses. Not just watching, Wyatt corrected, his voice hard. Testing us. Each raid, each attack, they were measuring our responses, learning our weaknesses. He pointed to a specific cluster of markers on the map. And this is their mistake. The lieutenant leaned closer. Sir. They're creatures of pattern, Lieutenant. Even their secret bases follow a mathematical sequence. Once you understand their logic, you can predict their movements. Wyatt's fingers traced invisible lines between the markers. This is why I had our fleet equipped with the new stealth drives. We're going to hit every one of these bases before they even know we've broken their code. In the ship's holding cells, the captured raiders were beginning to realize they had severely underestimated their opponent. Through the reinforced viewing window, Wyatt watched as Dr. Anna Wells conducted her interrogation of the highest-ranking survivor. Their biology is fascinating, Wells reported, not looking up from her data pad. The translator implants we recovered are giving us direct access to their language centers. They literally can't lie to us now. Wyatt nodded. And what are they telling us? The raider fleet we destroyed wasn't just a random patrol. They were an advance force for something called the Great Hunt. According to their traditions, they seek out promising species and test them through combat. If the species proves worthy, they're offered a choice: join the raiders or be destroyed. How many species have joined them? Wyatt asked, though he already suspected the answer. None, Wells confirmed. The tests are designed to be impossible to pass. It's just an excuse for conquest. Wyatt's expression remained neutral, but his eyes gleamed. Then they've never faced humanity before. Show me everything they know about this Great Hunt. Back on the Black Vengeance, Wyatt called an emergency meeting with his senior staff. The ship's conference room was secured against any possible surveillance. Its walls lined with quantum scramblers that prevented any signal from escaping. Ladies and gentlemen, Wyatt began, what we've learned from the raiders changes everything. Their entire civilization is built around the concept of hunting other species. They believe themselves to be the ultimate predators of the galaxy. He paused, letting his words sink in. We're going to prove them wrong. He activated the room's holographic projector, displaying a complex web of tactical data. For 15 years, I've been preparing for this moment. Every technology we've developed, every strategy we've crafted, it wasn't just about defending Earth. It was about becoming the perfect counter to their entire species. First Officer Thompson studied the display with growing understanding. The quantum disruptors, the stealth drives, the neural translators, you designed them all specifically to fight the raiders. Not just fight them, Wyatt corrected. To beat them at their own game. Their entire culture is based on hunting others, but they've never been hunted themselves. That's about to change. He brought up a new set of tactical displays. Phase 1 was today's battle. Phase 2 begins now. Our fleet will split into 5 groups, each targeting a different sector of raider space. We'll use their own hidden bases against them, striking from the shadows and disappearing before they can respond. But sir, one of the officers interrupted, even with our advantages, we're still outnumbered. The raiders have thousands of ships. Wyatt's smile was cold. Numbers don't win battles, Commander. Information does. Thanks to our prisoners, we now have complete access to their communication protocols. Every order they send, every distress call they make, we'll know about it before they do. He touched another control, and the hologram shifted to show a massive space station hidden in an asteroid field. This is their primary command center for this sector of space. In 3 days, they'll be holding a gathering of their fleet commanders to plan the next phase of their great hunt. We're going to attend that meeting. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Thompson was the first to speak. You're planning to infiltrate their command center? Not just infiltrate it, Wyatt replied. We're going to capture it. The quantum disruptors were just the beginning. Wait until you see what else I've developed over the years. He brought up detailed schematics of new weapons and devices, each designed to exploit specific weaknesses in raider technology and biology. Their overconfidence is their greatest weakness. They've never bothered to develop countermeasures because they've never needed them before. As his officers studied the plans, Wyatt walked to the viewport and stared out at the stars. Everything was proceeding exactly as he had foreseen. The raiders thought they were the galaxy's perfect predators. But they were about to learn a harsh lesson about humanity. Prepare the fleet, he ordered. In 3 days, we're going hunting. 3 days passed like a shadow across the stars. The Black Vengeance hung motionless in space, its dark hull blending perfectly with the asteroid fields surrounding the raiders' command center. Captain Wyatt stood in his private quarters, making final adjustments to his battle armor. The new suit was his own design, built specifically for this mission. Its surface could change color and texture to match any background, and its internal systems were completely shielded against radar detection technology. He had spent years studying their sensors, learning their blind spots. Final checks complete, Captain, Thompson reported through the comm, all teams are in position. Wyatt activated his armor's heads-up display, watching as tactical data streamed across his vision. Status of the infiltration pods? All 20 pods are ready for launch. The raiders still haven't detected our presence. Of course they haven't, Wyatt replied, his voice carrying a hint of satisfaction. Their sensors are designed to detect engine emissions and energy signatures. Our pods don't use either. The infiltration pods were another of Wyatt's innovations. Instead of conventional engines, they used a gravity manipulation system that let them ride the natural space currents between asteroids. To the radar sensors, they would look like nothing more than drifting rocks. All teams, final briefing, Wyatt commanded as he made his way to the launch bay. Remember, this isn't just about capturing their command center. Every piece of data, every scrap of technology must be secured. The raiders are about to become our teachers. The launch bay was filled with soldiers in similar stealth armor, their faces set with determination. These weren't just any troops, they were survivors of raider attacks, handpicked by Wyatt himself. Each one had a personal reason to see this mission succeed. "Dr. Wells, report on the bioweapon," Wyatt called out as he approached his pod. The doctor's voice came through clear on the comm. "The modified nerve agent is ready, sir. It will only affect raider biology, humans will be completely safe. One burst in their air circulation system, and every raider in the command center will be paralyzed within seconds." "Excellent." Wyatt checked his weapon, another custom design. "Remember, we need them alive. Their minds hold too much valuable information." The pods launched silently, drifting with the natural movement of the asteroid field. Through his viewport, Wyatt watched as the massive raider command center grew larger. The station was a masterpiece of alien engineering, its twisted spires and sharp angles reflecting their aggressive culture. "Look at their defenses," Thompson commented from another pod. "Those weapon emplacements could tear apart an entire fleet." "They could," Wyatt agreed, "if they were facing an attack from the outside. But like all predators, the raiders never expect danger from within their own den." As they approached, Wyatt activated his neural link to the captured raider databases. The alien's own security protocols flowed through his mind, telling him exactly where to find the maintenance airlocks that were used by automated repair drones. "All teams, prepare for breach," he ordered. "The station's command staff will be gathering in the main hall in exactly 17 minutes. That's when we strike." The pods attached themselves to various points around the station, their magnetic clamps making no more noise than a falling snowflake. Wyatt's team took position near a secondary command center, while other teams spread out to cover key systems and escape routes. Inside the station, raider commanders were arriving from across the sector, their ships docking in the massive hangars. None of them noticed the small changes in their security systems, the tiny gaps in their sensor coverage that Wyatt's virus was creating. "Sir," Lieutenant Reed's voice came through the comm, "I'm picking up some unusual readings. The raiders are bringing in some kind of new technology. Something we haven't seen before." Wyatt's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The data that appeared on his display made his heart race. The raiders weren't just gathering to plan their next hunt, they were preparing to unveil a new weapon system. Something that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. "This changes nothing," Wyatt declared after studying the data. "In fact, it makes our mission even more critical. That technology will be ours before this day is done." The minutes ticked by with agonizing slowness. Wyatt watched through hacked security feeds as the raider commanders filed into the main hall. Their arrogance was obvious in their relaxed postures, their casual conversations. They had no idea they were already defeated. "All teams, initiate Phase 1, Wyatt ordered when the last commander entered the hall. Across the station, hidden devices activated, releasing the nerve agent into the air circulation system. At the same time, Wyatt's virus froze all internal communications and locked down every door. Phase 2, execute. The maintenance airlocks opened silently, and human troops poured into the station like shadows come to life. Their stealth armor made them nearly invisible as they moved through the corridors, securing key positions. Wyatt led his team toward the secondary command center, his mind already racing ahead to the next phase of his plan. The raiders were about to learn that they weren't the only ones who knew how to hunt. And unlike them, humanity didn't play with its prey. The trap is set, he thought as he moved through the alien corridors. Now it's time to show the galaxy's greatest predators what it feels like to be hunted. Alarms blared through the raider command station as the nerve agent took effect. Inside the main hall, alien commanders collapsed one by one, their bodies paralyzed but their minds fully aware. Through the security feeds, Wyatt watched with cold satisfaction as confusion turned to fear in their four-eyed faces. Main hall secured, Thompson reported through the comm, all primary targets are neutralized. Wyatt led his team through the secondary command center's doors, their weapons raised. The few Raider technicians inside were already slumped over their consoles, victims of the nerve agent. Begin the data extraction. I want every system, every file copied to our secure servers. Lieutenant Reed moved to the main control station, his fingers flying over the alien interface. Sir, you need to see this. The new weapon they were planning to unveil, it's not just a weapon. It's a whole new type of technology. Wyatt stepped closer, studying the technical readouts on the screen. His eyes widened slightly as he understood what he was seeing. They've found a way to detect ships in hyperspace. That's how they've been so successful in their hunts. They can track prey even when it's trying to escape. Not just track, Reed added, digging deeper into the files. According to this, they can actually force ships out of hyperspace. Anything they target would be pulled back into normal space, right into their weapon's range. A thin smile crossed Wyatt's face. Download everything. This technology will serve humanity well. Suddenly, a new alarm sounded, different from the others. Reed's hands raced across the console. Captain, we've got incoming ships. A lot of them. Right on schedule, Wyatt said calmly. Execute Phase 3. Outside the station, hidden among the asteroids, Wyatt's fleet powered up their systems. But they weren't alone. From the darkness of space, more Earth ships appeared, dropping their stealth fields. Dozens of them, then hundreds. Did you really think I would commit to this assault with just one fleet? Wyatt asked the paralyzed Raider commanders through the station's comm system. While you were focused on our first group of ships, 3 more fleets were moving into position. You're not just trapped, you're surrounded. The incoming Raider reinforcements had no idea they were flying into an ambush. As they emerged from hyperspace, expecting to rescue their commanders, they found themselves caught in a deadly crossfire. Launch the drones, Wyatt ordered. Thousands of small, automated weapons platforms deployed from the Earth ships. Another of Wyatt's innovations, they were designed to swarm enemy vessels, overwhelming their defenses with sheer numbers while the larger ships delivered killing blows. Sir, Thompson called out, we're detecting energy buildups in several of the Raider ships. They're trying to escape back into hyperspace. Let them try. Wyatt activated another system, one he had installed in secret throughout the asteroid field. Activate the gravity web. The space around the station twisted as hundreds of gravity generators came online. The same technology that allowed the Raiders to pull ships from hyperspace was now being used against them, trapping them in normal space. You see, Wyatt addressed the Raider commanders again, I've spent 15 years studying your technology, your tactics, your very nature. Everything you've built, everything you've developed, it can all be turned against you. You thought you were the galaxy's greatest hunters, but you never understood a simple truth: humans don't just hunt. We learn. We adapt. We evolve. The battle outside the station was brief but intense. The Raider ships, caught between multiple Earth fleets and unable to escape, fought desperately. But Wyatt's preparations were too thorough, his tactics too perfect. One by one, the alien vessels fell silent. Inside the station, Wyatt's teams moved with precision, securing every deck, every room. The nerve agent had done its work well, resistance was minimal. More importantly, the Raiders' precious technology was falling into human hands intact. Dr. Wells, Wyatt called over the comm, how long until the nerve agent wears off? Another 3 hours, Captain, she replied. More than enough time to secure all prisoners and set up the neural interfaces. Good. I want to begin interrogations immediately. Focus on their fleet movements and base locations first. By the time they wake up, I want to know every secret they've been hiding. Reed called out from his console, Sir, I've found something else in their databases. It looks like tactical data about other species, dozens of them. Some we've never encountered before. Wyatt nodded. The raiders have been hunting across this galaxy for centuries. Their databases are a treasure trove of tactical information about potential threats and potential allies. He paused, considering the possibilities. Humanity won't just inherit their technology. We'll inherit their knowledge of the galaxy itself. As his teams continued their work, Wyatt walked to the station's main viewport. Outside, disabled raider ships drifted lifelessly among the asteroids, while Earth vessels moved into defensive positions. This victory wasn't just about revenge, it was about securing humanity's future. Begin transmission to Earth Command, he ordered. Tell them Phase 1 of Operation Shadow Hunter is complete. The real war is about to begin. 6 hours after the capture of the Raider Command Station, Captain Wyatt stood in the newly established interrogation center. The room was filled with captured Raider commanders, each connected to neural interfaces of his own design. Their 4 eyes stared at him with a mixture of hatred and fear. Remarkable, Dr. Wells said, studying the data streaming across her screens. Their mental defenses are completely useless against our systems. Everything they know is being uploaded to our databases. Wyatt watched the information flow with satisfaction. Show me their fleet deployments. A holographic map appeared in the center of the room, showing thousands of Raider ships spread across hundreds of star systems. Red dots marked their major bases, while blue lines showed patrol routes and supply lines. Their empire is larger than we thought, Thompson observed, studying the map. They control nearly a quarter of this spiral arm. Not for long, Wyatt replied. He touched a control, and dozens of green dots appeared on the map, Earth fleet positions that he had carefully arranged over the past months. While they were focused on hunting us, we were positioning our forces throughout their territory. Now, with their command codes and tactical data, we can strike every major base simultaneously. Lieutenant Reed rushed into the room, his face excited. Captain, we've finished analyzing their hyperspace detection technology. It's incredible, they use quantum entanglement to create a network of sensors throughout their territory. That's how they've managed to ambush so many species. Can we access their sensor network? Wyatt asked. Better than that, sir. We can control it. With their command codes, we can make their entire detection system blind to our ships while still tracking theirs. Wyatt smiled coldly. Perfect. Begin uploading the sensor data to all Earth ships. I want our entire fleet to have real-time tracking of every Raider vessel in the sector. One of the Raider commanders managed to speak through his paralysis, his words translated by the neural interface. You don't understand what you're dealing with. The hunt cannot be stopped. Others will come. Others? Wyatt turned to face the alien. You mean the rest of your species? The great empire beyond this sector? He walked closer to the paralyzed commander. That's exactly what I'm counting on. He activated another holographic display, this one showing detailed scans of the Raider biology. Dr. Wells, share your findings. The doctor nodded. The nerve agent we used wasn't just designed to paralyze. It's also mapping their entire biological structure, down to the genetic level. We're learning everything about their species, their strengths, their weaknesses, and most importantly, their limitations. You see, Wyatt addressed the commander, everything you've built, every advantage you've developed, was based on being the superior species. But humanity doesn't play by those rules. We don't need to be stronger or faster. We just need to be smarter. A signal chimed on the main console. Reed checked the readings. Sir, the first wave of data from the neural interfaces is complete. We have full access to their tactical protocols, command structures, and battlefield strategies. Begin transmission to all Earth fleets, Wyatt ordered. It's time for Phase 2. He turned back to the map, watching as the green dots representing Earth ships began to move. Launch simultaneous attacks on all primary targets. Use their own protocols against them. I want their entire command structure in chaos. Across Raider space, Earth ships appeared from hiding, striking at bases and supply lines with devastating precision. Using the stolen command codes, they turned automated defenses against their creators and lured Raider ships into carefully prepared traps. Message from Earth Command, Thompson reported. The full fleet is mobilized and moving into position. They're asking for target priorities. Wyatt studied the map carefully. Direct them to these coordinates. He highlighted several key systems. These are their shipyards and research facilities. Without them, they can't replace their losses or develop new weapons. The paralyzed Raider commander watched in horror as reports of destruction and defeat poured in from across their territory. This is impossible. No prey species has ever. That was your first mistake, Wyatt interrupted. Thinking of us as prey. Humanity isn't prey or predator. We're something else entirely. We're survivors. And survivors learn from everything, even their enemies. He brought up another display, showing designs for new ships that combined Earth and Raider technology. Every victory brings us more knowledge, more technology, more understanding of how your species thinks and fights. By the time your main fleet arrives, we'll know more about fighting your kind than you do. Dr. Wells approached with a new report. Captain, we've finished analyzing their communication protocols. They use quantum-entangled particles for instant communication across vast distances. With their technology, we can coordinate our entire fleet in real time, regardless of distance. Implement it immediately, Wyatt ordered. I want all Earth ships linked into the network within the hour. He turned to Thompson. Status of the prisoner transfers? The first transport ships are ready, sir. We can begin moving the captured commanders to our secure facilities whenever you give the word. Wyatt nodded. Start with the highest-ranking officers. I want them thoroughly interrogated before the nerve agent wears off completely. Their knowledge of Raider strategy and psychology will be invaluable. As his orders were carried out, Wyatt returned to the main viewport. The battle outside had long since ended, but new flashes of light in the distance marked the beginning of humanity's counteroffensive. The Raiders were about to learn a harsh lesson about the species they had underestimated. Sir, Reed called out, we're detecting large-scale hyperspace disturbances at the edge of their territory. Multiple signals, moving fast. Right on schedule, Wyatt said quietly. The main Raider fleet approaches. Time to show them what humanity is truly capable of. The main screens of the captured Raider station flickered with countless battle reports as the massive Raider fleet approached. Captain Wyatt stood calmly in the command center, watching the incoming armada with calculating eyes. 5,000 ships, Thompson reported, his voice tense. Maybe more. They're spreading out into attack formation. Wyatt nodded slowly. They're using their standard hunting pattern. Trying to cut off all escape routes. He touched a control, bringing up a tactical display. Just like they did 15 years ago, when they destroyed my home colony. Sir, Lieutenant Reed called out, they're broadcasting on all frequencies. They're demanding our surrender. Put it through, Wyatt ordered. The main screen lit up with the image of the Raider High Commander, its scaled face twisted with rage. You dare to strike at the heart of our territory, the alien's translated voice boomed. Your entire species will pay for this insult. Wyatt's response was calm, almost casual. High Commander, I've been looking forward to meeting you. I believe you were in command of the fleet that attacked Colony 7 all those years ago. The alien's 4 eyes blinked in confusion. Colony 7? One insignificant human settlement among hundreds we've cleansed. Yes, I thought you might not remember, Wyatt said softly. That's the difference between us. You see your victims as nothing but prey, while we He paused, allowing himself a small smile. "We remember everything." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "All ships, execute Operation Twilight. Show them what we've learned." Across the battlefield, Earth ships began to move in perfect coordination. But they weren't retreating or preparing for a desperate last stand. Instead, they were implementing battle plans that the raiders themselves had created, but with crucial modifications that Wyatt had developed. "Launch the phase shifters," Wyatt commanded. From the Earth ships, thousands of small devices emerged. They looked like simple debris at first, but as they spread through space, they began to emit carefully calculated energy patterns. The raiders' vaunted hyperspace detection system, now turned against them, began to malfunction. "Their sensor network is compromised," Reed reported with satisfaction. "They're getting false readings everywhere. Their ships are losing formation." The raider fleet's perfect hunting pattern began to break apart as their commanders received conflicting data. Some ships detected threats that didn't exist, while others became blind to real dangers approaching them. "Now," Wyatt ordered, "bring in the Ghost Fleet." From the darkness of space, hundreds of Earth ships appeared, dropping their stealth fields. They had been hiding in plain sight, using captured raider technology combined with Wyatt's innovations to remain completely undetectable. "Multiple targets locked," Thompson announced. "Ghost Fleet is in optimal firing position." Wyatt's voice was steady as he gave the order. "Execute Pattern Omega. Show them how humanity hunts." The space around the raider fleet erupted in chaos. Earth ships struck from impossible angles, using the raiders' own tactical doctrine against them. Each attack was precisely calculated to force the aliens into predictable responses, driving them into carefully prepared kill zones. "Sir." Reed's excited voice cut through the tactical updates. "The neural interface data from the captured commanders, it's giving us real-time predictions of their battle strategies." "Of course it is," Wyatt replied. "Their entire species thinks alike. Once you understand their psychology, their responses become predictable." He watched as another group of raider ships fell into a trap. "They're so convinced of their superiority that they can't imagine being outsmarted." Dr. Wells entered the command center, her face excited. "Captain, we've finished analyzing their biological data. The nerve agent has been modified. We can now deploy it through their ship's life support systems." "Upload the formula to all Earth ships," Wyatt ordered. "Target their command vessels first." The battle continued to unfold exactly as Wyatt had planned. The mighty raider fleet, pride of their species, found itself being systematically torn apart by the very prey they had underestimated. "High Commander's ship located," Thompson reported. "They're trying to coordinate a counterattack." "Not for long." Wyatt activated a special command sequence. "Deploy the quantum virus." Throughout the raider fleet, ships began to lose power as their computer systems were invaded by code that Wyatt had crafted using their own technology. Emergency systems failed, weapons went offline, and communication networks collapsed. "Message from the High Commander," Reed announced. They're requesting terms of surrender." The command center fell silent. Wyatt walked to the main viewport, watching as the once mighty raider fleet drifted helplessly in space. "No terms," he said quietly. "Disable their ships. Capture their crews. Take everything." He turned to face his crew. "The age of the hunters is over. Now they'll learn what it means to be hunted." As Earth ships moved in to secure their prizes, Wyatt accessed the captured raider database one more time. There, hidden in their most secure files, he found what he had suspected all along: coordinates to their homeworld, and detailed plans for even more advanced technology they had been developing. "Send word to Earth Command," he ordered. "Phase 3 of Operation Shadow Hunter is ready to begin. It's time to take the fight to their home territory." The stars seemed to shine brighter as humanity's victory was secured. The raiders had spent centuries perfecting the art of hunting other species. But they had never faced an enemy like humanity, an enemy that could learn, adapt, and turn their own strengths against them. And this was only the beginning. 3 days after the Great Battle, Captain Wyatt walked through the halls of his flagship, the Black Vengeance. The ship had changed. Captured raider technology now merged seamlessly with human systems, making the vessel more powerful than ever before. "Status report," he commanded, entering the newly upgraded bridge. "All captured raider ships have been secured," Thompson reported. "Our engineering teams are already adapting their technology for our use. The hyperspace detection systems are being installed across the entire Earth fleet." Wyatt nodded, moving to the tactical display. The map showed their forces spread across what had once been raider territory. Green dots representing Earth ships now patrolled space lanes that had belonged to humanity's enemies for centuries. "And our prisoners?" Dr. Wells stepped forward. "The neural interfaces have given us everything we needed. We now have complete knowledge of their military structure, technology, and cultural weaknesses." She paused, bringing up new data on the screen. "But there's something else you need to see." The display showed information about other alien species, dozens of them. Some were advanced civilizations that had been hunted to extinction by the raiders. Others were surviving races, hiding in fear of the next great hunt. "They're all watching us now," Wells continued. "Word of our victory is spreading. The species that survived raider attacks, they're calling us the hunter-killers." Lieutenant Reed joined them, his face excited. "Sir, we're receiving transmissions from several of these species. They want to know if the rumors are true, if we really defeated the raiders' main fleet." "Send them proof," Wyatt ordered. "Show them the battle recordings. Let them see that the raiders can be beaten." He turned to Thompson. "Status of Operation Shadow Hunter's next phase?" "All preparations are complete, sir. The coordinates to the raider homeworld have been confirmed. Our upgraded fleet is ready to move on your command." Wyatt studied the star map, his eyes fixed on the distant system that housed the heart of the raider empire. "They still don't understand what's happening. They think this was just a military defeat, something that can be overcome with enough ships and weapons." He brought up the designs for new vessels, hybrid ships that combined the best of human innovation with captured raider technology. But this was never just about winning battles. This was about evolution. Walking to the main viewport, Wyatt watched as captured raider ships were being modified by Earth engineers. Their sleek, predatory forms were being transformed into something new, something that represented not just power, but wisdom. "Message from Earth Command," Reed announced. "They're asking for your full report on the integration of raider technology." "Send them everything," Wyatt replied. "Every innovation, every adaptation, every lesson we've learned." He paused, considering his next words carefully. "But make sure they understand, this is just the beginning." Dr. Wells approached with a new set of data. "The analysis of their genetic structure is complete. The raiders evolved as apex predators on their homeworld. Their entire society is built around the concept of hunting and dominating other species. Which is exactly why they'll never be able to adapt to what's coming," Wyatt said. "They can only think like predators. But humanity." He gestured to the modified ships outside, "We can think like anything we need to be." The bridge crew gathered around as Wyatt activated a holographic display showing the full scope of his plans. It wasn't just about defeating the raiders, it was about transforming humanity into something new. Every species the raiders hunted had something unique: advanced technology, unique biological adaptations, innovative solutions to survival, Wyatt explained. "The raiders simply destroyed what they couldn't understand. But we're going to learn from all of it." He brought up images of the other surviving species, those who had lived in fear of the raiders for generations. These civilizations have been isolated, forced to develop their own ways of surviving. Now they're watching us, the first species to not just survive the raiders, but to defeat them completely. Sir, Thompson said, are you suggesting an alliance? More than an alliance. Wyatt's eyes gleamed with purpose. We're going to create something the raiders never could, a network of civilizations working together, sharing knowledge and technology. Not for hunting, but for growth. The tactical display shifted, showing the planned assault on the raider homeworld. But unlike the raiders' brutal hunting strategies, this plan was different. It was precise, calculated, and designed to minimize destruction. We're not going to destroy them, Wyatt declared. We're going to teach them. Show them that there's more to existence than being the greatest predator. He smiled slightly. After all, that's what humans do best, we learn, and we teach others what we've learned. As final preparations were made for the assault on the raider homeworld, Wyatt took one last look at the captured command station where this phase of his plan had begun. 15 years of planning, of preparing, of turning personal tragedy into the catalyst for change. Begin the jump sequence, he ordered. It's time to complete what we started. The Black Vengeance and its fleet of hybrid ships powered up their engines, preparing to make history once again. The raiders had spent centuries teaching the galaxy to fear them. Now humanity would teach the galaxy something new, hope. The age of the hunt is over, Wyatt said quietly as the ships jumped to hyperspace. The age of humanity has begun.